First of all, how do you see the China reopening evolving? Is it open the gates? Is it bumpy? What are you noticing on the ground?
I think we've all been quite surprised at the speed at which it's been opened up. This is huge, not just for us, but also for the whole of Hong Kong. So to give viewers a sense, at the half year, we printed a number of 1.1 billion new business profit for the whole group. Mainland visitors down into Hong Kong provide $100 million of new business profit every month when we're in the full flow version. So it's huge for our business, very, very exciting. This year is our 175th anniversary, 100 years in Asia. So it's a great opening. It's a great way to begin the year.
Now, the opening is also key because this is still like a person-to-person business for you guys, right? If the reopening is lumpier than we expect or borders don't all of a sudden go wide open, when does that delay the benefit that you guys would see?
So I think what will be fascinating to observe is what happens in the run-up to Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is early this year. Then after that, the speed with which visitors come southbound. So if visitors come southbound in numbers that we used to see during the course of 2019, then that number is that 100 million I spoke about is going to come through to fruition very, very quickly. In reality, we expect it to be a more gradual increase in numbers of people coming down to Hong Kong from mainland China. At the moment, the numbers are about 6,000 to 7,000 a day. That is a significant. Previously, it was 2,000 a day. At full flight, it's 1 million visitors a week from mainland China into Hong Kong. So it's a huge component. So we have quite a way to run yet. And my sense is it's going to run and build during the course of this year and into next year as well.
Mark, good morning. It's Guy in London. You have a huge team in Asia. That team travels around Asia. The restrictions placed on Hong Kong, therefore, were hugely problematic. Do you think Hong Kong has been damaged as a result of what has just taken place? And do you think that Singapore has been enhanced? Has there been a power shift as a result of this?
Guy, I think without a shadow of a doubt, there has been damage to Hong Kong in the short term. It's a very brave person that's going to bet against Hong Kong. It's an amazingly resilient market, and I expect to see people coming back into Hong Kong, especially if you've got those 1 million visitors coming back from mainland China. So I think it's going to be vibrant. I was there 4 times last year. Each time I was there, it became busier, it became more energetic, it became more exciting. So I think Hong Kong will rediscover the energy, the focus, and the vibrancy it used to have. And I think that will bring people back into Hong Kong and bring business back into Hong Kong.
What kind of products have shifted that you may be offering in Asia and Greater China based on COVID?
So what we've definitely seen is an increase in health and protection. So in 2021, we had a 41% increase in health and protection products and policies over 2020. And the first half of last year, we saw another double-digit increase in terms of health and protection products. So I think COVID has made consumers far more aware of their human frailties and the need to get some type of protection, especially in most markets in Asia where the state doesn't provide much in the way of a backdrop or support for difficult times. So having some type of protection, some type of cover is very, very valuable, not just for them, but also their extended families, because that is such an important part of Asian culture.
Let's talk about your focus on Asia. It's got very clearly on the screen in front of me, Prudential PLC, but it's been a few years effectively since we had the split with the kind of the London operation, the European operation. Mark, does the London listing still make sense? Has the COVID story delayed maybe a greater focus on Asia? I know you guys in the past have made it very clear that you're looking for more Asian investors, more local investors. You've moved the times at which you have your calls, etc., in the morning to make sure that analysts are able to get onto those calls and have that focus. Has that process been delayed? Does that London listing still make sense? And have we seen a delay to maybe a refocusing of that listing towards Asia?
Guy, that's a great question. I think in terms of the scale of our business in Asia, Asian investors are starting to look at us in a very, very different way than they've looked at us in the past. I think what we've done is we've started to see a greater appetite from Asian investors to invest in the company. I think what you're seeing as well is an uptick in terms of awareness of what we do, how we're different from some of our peers. And the London listing at the moment is still where the majority of the stock is traded. We've seen an increase in liquidity in the Hong Kong line. We raised $2.5 billion in September 2021. We raised that on the Hong Kong line to try and increase liquidity there. We are beginning to see some shares move from the London line into Hong Kong. Fairly modest at this stage, but at least it's an improvement, so that's quite encouraging. And we have about 40% of our stock is effectively owned by UK and UK investors. So it's quite a high hurdle to be able to move that across. And I think from seeing other companies relocate their stock to different listings, it's a multi-year process. So I think it is going to take us time. We need to continue engaging, continue spending time with investors. And I think that we will see greater and more stock move to the Hong Kong line in due course.
You also are sort of switching jobs. You're interim CEO. That runs out at the end of February. Anhel Wadhwani will be taking over as CEO. You have a lot on your plate. Are you guys ready for the transition? Many are looking at this as a catalyst for the stock to make up for some underperformance. How's it going?
So it's great to know that Anil's going to be coming in at the end of February. So he will take over. He's been operating in Asia for many, many years. He used to run Manulife's Asia operations. He was a Citibank before that. So he knows the region, he knows the industry very, very well. And I think it's absolutely right that Prudential has an Asian CEO to take the business forward, because that is effectively who we are. The prep for when he starts at the end of Feb is going well. He's going to come straight in, and 2 weeks later, he's got the prelim results to do. So it's going to be a baptism of fire, but he's a great guy, he's fantastic, and I've no doubt he's up to the challenge.